Before I made this video, I spent a ton of time watching other videos to see what was out there and to see what I could do better so that I can make sure this video is worth your time. I'm a little disappointed at what I saw. So much of what's out there is just a sales pitch poorly disguised as an educational video. I promise you that this is not what you're gonna see from me today. The other thing I saw a lot of was people who sold one house themselves and then went on to make videos from a standpoint of supreme knowledge. I don't think people who've only done a thing one time should be teaching any classes on a subject. Your home is your biggest investment. You need wisdom, not talk at the water cooler, and certainly not a sales pitch, crudely disguised as useful information. Before you talk to anybody, it makes sense to clean the home up first, and there are 3 good reasons for this. First, buyers don't want to bother fixing the squeaky door, the creaky floor, and the dripping faucet either. Now, if they see more than a few things wrong with your home, they'll start looking harder for more, then it's game over. The second reason is if you don't fix the stuff now, it's just going to come up in inspection. When an inspector puts out a list of things that is too long, buyers get scared, and many first-time buyers may even walk away from the deal. The third and final reason that when repairs are requested post-inspection, many purchase and sale agreements have verbiage dictating that all repairs must be completed by a licensed and bonded contractor. Are you seeing dollar signs yet? You should be. But it's okay because it's avoidable. Fix the stuff yourself first, and you'll save yourself some money. I always suggest cleaning up the home first because it will help out during the home evaluation. From the home evaluation, you determine your market price for your home. Pricing your home properly at the start is critical because your home will never be seen by as many people as it is the first week that it enters the market. Thinking I'll price it high and we can always come down later is a dangerous strategy. There are lots of reasons you shouldn't overprice your home. The first reason is that every serious buyer will see your home for sale almost immediately and rule it out almost immediately if it's priced too high. The internet has commoditized homes, and it's not long after buyers start searching for homes that they feel like they know what a home should be priced at. If you price it too high, they'll either scroll right past it or worse, never see it because the search by price feature will rule it out. Overpricing a home also means more days on market, which is bad because buyers can see how long your home's been sitting. So when you lower the price to something more competitive, they'll see it again with fresh eyes at the current price, and then they'll wonder why it never sold. They'll see the days on the market and wonder what's wrong with it. That's not good. The third reason is that real estate websites will show your home less often and will limit your home's visibility on their website. Search engine algorithms are written to reflect the desires of the public. If you're wondering, Zillow, Trulia, Redfin Marketplace, and Craigslist are all search engine websites. Search engine websites only do well if they make end users happy. So if people don't like to look at homes that have been sitting around for too long, and they don't unless they're bargain hunting, then the search engines will bump these houses down and make room for the new stuff that's priced right out of the gate and getting lots of attention. The opposite of overpricing is underpricing, and the results might not be what you'd think. Underpricing a home creates an effect similar to an auction, which is why a lot of savvy home sellers will list their homes under market value right out of the gate. Intentionally underpricing a home creates a spike in demand because greed is a powerful motivator. When you price your home under market value, home buyers will step over other homes to get to yours. Multiple offers will come in and the price will be driven up. And if for some reason your home is the only home immune to the laws of consumer psychology, you'll be under no obligation to accept any of the offers you received. Underpricing your home can be scary if you haven't watched it play out a few times. It seems counterintuitive. So pricing the home at or slightly above market value is the route most sellers are comfortable with. When you're doing this, you need to be conscious of a psychological phenomenon called the upgrade factor. In a 2020 study by Zhao et al., researchers did a meta-analysis of the better than average effect. Long story short, the meta-analysis confirmed that average people tend to rate what they've got as above average when compared to others. This tendency to rate our traits and choices as better than average spills over to our home evaluations. In this case, sellers place a higher value on the upgrades they've personally selected because they like them. Now, this doesn't always mesh with public perception, and dollar for dollar return isn't always what home sellers were expecting. You need a fresh set of neutral eyes to avoid overpricing caused by the upgrade factor. Whenever I tell people to remove the emotion from the home evaluation process, they wonder if they should just use the price the computer gives them. Please don't do that. On these websites, price is determined by an algorithm. Algorithms don't have eyes. Algorithms don't know what they're working with is incomplete data sets that are missing or adding important features. An accurate home evaluation needs a human touch, preferably someone who's not emotionally invested with the interior design and who won't add value that stems from emotional attachment. Now, someone who knows that at some point the buyer's lender will order an appraisal, and if their appraisal is over the purchase price, the deal can fall through, and you probably will have been tied up for all those days for nothing. I do free no obligation home evaluations. My contact will be in the description. If you haven't realized yet that you can trust me, you can do all of this on your own. Remember to be mindful of the upgrade factor. Only use homes with very similar in square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, and neighborhood. Use sold or pending prices. Don't use asking prices. Asking prices only tell you what sellers are asking. They don't tell you what people are willing to pay. Market value is what people are willing to pay, and that's the sold or pending prices. Also, don't use homes that sold too long ago, since the market will have changed in one direction or the other. Oh, and tour the homes that you use for comparables to make sure they don't have anything that you don't have, or to see if they have things that you don't. You'll need to adjust your price accordingly. You can't assume that all the details are available online. You have to go look. Okay, photos. I've toured hundreds of homes with clients, and I lost count of how many times I brought people to see ugly houses because they had beautiful photos. Good photos lead to more attention for your home and a greater chance of finding that perfect buyer. If you can't do this, or if you don't have someone close to you who can, please hire a professional. Once a buyer enters their desired specs into the search engine, your first impression will be these photos. If you can, consider video. I've sold so many homes with videos because photos didn't do them justice. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words and a video offers 60 pictures per second. Videos equal increased traffic equals more offers can mean higher offers. You see where I'm going with this. Shoot high quality photos and video. And if you can't, hire someone. Listing and marketing your home is critical because it will determine how many buyers will see it, which directly links to how many offers you'll receive, which is strongly correlated with you getting your asking price you're looking for. An entry-level marketing plan consists of 3 key elements: your description, the professional-looking photos and video, and mass exposure. You'll want to begin by writing your property description, since every place you'll be marketing your home will call for one. Consider having 2 descriptions, one for online and one for offline in other places. Online descriptions don't need a reminder of the number of bedrooms and bathrooms or the price. People found your listing by searching for these metrics. But do say the name of the neighborhood if it's one that people seek out. As you're writing your description, keep in mind that people buy based on emotion and then justify their decisions with logic. We see something, we read something, it feels right, and then we want it. Then our prefrontal cortex kicks in and we begin to reason. So lead with emotion if you can. The specs will be around in other fields for them to justify their decision. The description box is your place to sell. I'm going to list 7 core emotional motivators, but you'll need to determine what it is about your home or community that's relevant to these motivators, and then weave them together to form your ultimate sales description. The 7 core motivators are safety, adventure, significance, relationship, health, wellness, success, or a sense of purpose, growth, and education for them or their family. Once your description is written, you'll want to take those high-quality photos and video and your description and start putting them on every website where homes for sale can be found. Start with Facebook Marketplace, community sites on Facebook. Your neighborhood probably has its own page on Facebook where people socialize and offer things for sale. Find yours. Your personal Facebook feed, your Instagram, Craigslist, and Zillow. When you submit through Zillow, you also get Trulia, since Zillow bought them in 2015. Make flyers and post them in the local grocery store and at the restaurant you always eat at. Once you've done all of this, find some more places and list your home there too. If you want the most for your home, you need to be everywhere and annoying like the salesman you despise, because that's what it takes to get top dollar for your home. Homes sold with a realtor sell for 16% more than homes sold for sale by owner, and the difference is the salesman or woman who's not afraid to ruffle some feathers to look out for your best interest, and you need to do the same. Which brings me to the open house. One of the top reasons listed for people moving to an area is to be closer to family or friends. This means that your neighbors are some of the first people you should talk to about your home for sale in their neighborhood. And an open house can be a great place to start. And I say can be, because you can do this wrong and it will feel like a huge waste of time. The way most people do this, if they do it at all, is they order a couple of open house signs from the internet, post about it on social media, they sit and wait. Well, unless you live next to a very busy street, next to a very popular weekend destination, you will be very bored at your open house. Now, here's what we do. And if you're said to yourself, agents don't do anything to justify that paycheck and you can do anything that they can do better, then this is your chance to prove it to yourself. An open house is successful when you've knocked on every door in the neighborhood and invited to the open house, when you've called everyone in the community, and when you've created a social media marketing campaign geographically targeting your community and promoting the open house that you're having. People are going to slam the door on your face and cuss at you and hang up on you before they even know that you're just a neighbor with a home for sale doing an open house. This is easier for some than it is for others, but this is the reason why homes sold by realtors sell for 16% more. This is where that difference is found. Okay, in addition to phone calls and door knocking, a good social media marketing campaign should be created to promote your house for the week leading up to it. There are lots of videos that show you how to do this, and it really is another video all in itself. When I have to do something like this for the first time, I like to use two screens to do it. On one screen, I watch how to do it, and on the other screen, I follow the steps, pausing as needed. So knock on the doors, call the people, promote the open house, then have the open house. 2 days are better than one. We've found that when you do Saturday and Sunday, more people show up than if you did 2 consecutive Saturdays. Check with your city, but more open house signs are better. Balloons on them if you can, bonus points if those signs go out to a busy street and then lead people back to your house. Make sure your house is decluttered, cleaned, vacuumed, and smelling good. Bake something or offer other snacks or refreshments. You want your neighbors to feel at home when they come by. Always ask them to sign in. If you want to save that commission and not take a hit on the sales price, you'll need to follow up with these people. If you call and they say it's a lovely home, but it's not for them, ask them if they have any friends or family looking to move to the area who might be interested in your home. If they do, then call those people too. Okay, now let's talk about how to handle realtors when they call, and they will call. They want to list your home for a commission. It's their job. You can tell them that you're working with another realtor, hopefully me, and they have to leave you alone or face fines. As you can see, I'm completely okay with you selling your home on your own, and I hope that you do. I also hope that I can represent you as your buyer's agent. This doesn't cost you a penny, and I help you obtain special financing on properties that match your exact home buying criteria, and I send these homes to you within minutes of them hitting the market. A lot of times before. These listings can go to your email, straight to the phone, depending on your personal preference and time frame. And once you find the right home, I'll help you negotiate the best price. I guarantee a savings of at least $10,000, where I reach in my pocket and pay you $1,000 at closing. Search homes for sale, get complete details at nickburt.org. So, okay. So if they call you and bug you, just tell them you're working with me, and they'll leave you alone. Now let's talk about what to do when a buyer wants to make an offer. The first thing you should do is ask to see their pre-approval letter or prequal or proof of funds. If they can't offer proof of their ability to purchase, then there's no point in going any further. Next, you'll need a purchase and sale agreement and seller disclosure forms, well addendums and septic and lead-based paint addendums depending on the year of your home. You really should talk to a lawyer and an accountant before you sell your home, especially if you're going to do it on your own. And I don't say that to scare you. It's dishonest for anybody making a video like this to pretend like sellers don't have a list of legal responsibilities. And like a judge told a younger me in traffic court, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Failure to disclose certain things and follow certain procedures can result in your contract being voidable and even get you sued for damages. I'm going to put a link to most of the local real estate laws in the description. I don't guarantee that all of the relevant laws for you can be found at this link. I just wanted to give you a place to start. You should use an escrow company for a smoother transaction with fewer hangups. Escrow is a neutral third party that helps ensure both parties carry out their end of the agreement. They'll make sure you get paid at closing, and they'll make sure that the home gets recorded in the buyer's name on the day as well. Another thing escrow will do, if it's in the contract, is to hold the earnest money for you and the buyer. Earnest money is a deposit towards the purchase price of the property. It's often 1% of the purchase price, but not always. If the buyers back out for no reason after tying up your property, you get to keep that deposit. A 10-day inspection period usually follows after acceptance. If you did a good job fixing up the property, then this part should go smoothly for you. If you decided to let them fix it, get ready. This is a buyer's opportunity to hire an inspector and do any other due diligence that they find necessary. The same time period should be used for lead-based paint inspections, mold, asbestos, wells, septic pools, and any solar inspections that the buyer would like to perform. They should present you with a request for repairs or credits, and you will usually have 2 to 5 days to respond depending on where you live and the contract you used. Once you respond, they will have a few days to respond to your response. You can choose to repair some, all, or none. If they don't agree to your response, they can often revoke the offer, and any earnest money held by escrow will be returned to them at that point. Assuming the inspection passed, the next big thing happens is usually the appraisal. This step harkens back to step 3 and the CMA, the market evaluation. If this was done correctly, all should be well. If you overpriced the home and then found yourself a first-time buyer who didn't know any better, this is where that'll catch up to you. The lender will not lend on this home, and that is worth less than the appraiser decides that the home is worth. When this happens, the lender will let the buyer or buyer's agent know that the home didn't appraise, and you'll need to lower the home to exactly the appraised value, or the buyer will need to pay cash out of pocket for a home they were just told is worth less than what they agreed to pay for. The third option is that you both go your separate ways at this point, which many in purchase contracts have an appraisal clause that allows the buyer to exit with the earnest money in hand. For many sellers, it makes sense at this point to just price the home accordingly to the appraised value, because the next buyer will be able to see that your home was off market and then put back on. And everybody wants to know why, and they always assume the worst. And you're just going to have the same problem when the next buyer's appraiser comes out. So, I know I said this before, but pricing it right the first time is critical for a stress-free transaction. A quick word about title and escrow. They are not the same. A lot of people think that they are the same because the title company can choose to offer escrow services, and many of them do. There are often 2 title insurance policies issued in a transaction, one for the buyer and one for the lender. The title company offers title insurance for the buyer, which insures against title defects such as forgeries, omissions, and confusion caused by things such as incorrect marital status and undiscovered heirs to the property. The seller usually pays for the buyer's basic title insurance policy in Arizona, but occasionally they'll split the cost. The other type of policy is the lender's policy, which does essentially the same thing, but the buyer almost always pays for this coverage. Escrow, as I mentioned earlier in a previous section, is a neutral third party that makes sure that both parties follow the contract to the letter, and that earnest money, payment, and recording of title all take place, among other things. Closing. On the purchase contract, you and the buyer will agree to a closing date, usually 30 to 45 days out. Will allow for a comfortable execution of all inspection periods, appraisals, and for the lender to fund. Now, I know lenders who can close in as little as 2 weeks and sometimes in as little as 4 days. Message me if you'd like their contact info. On the day of closing, escrow will be working with the lender in your local recording offices to ensure that you get wired your money and the buyer sees title transferred into their name. Once the title records, escrow will call all parties involved to let them know it's happened. The buyer will want any keys that you have and garage door openers. And you can set this up with however you'd like. Some people hide the keys on the property. If it's been a friendly transaction, you can personally deliver them to the buyer. If the buyers have an agent, they'll usually coordinate with you to pick them up. And that's it. You're done. So like I said before, you can do this yourself, but please do take the legal portion seriously. Review your local laws and regulations and speak with your accountant. The rest of this you can do on your own. As I mentioned before, I'd appreciate it if you consider using me as your buyer's agent. It doesn't cost you anything, and I both save you and make you money while streamlining the process and removing all the guesswork. If you're in the Phoenix area and you'd like my help with your net sheet or home evaluation, call me or message me on the platform. If you'd like to dive even deeper into the home selling process and exactly what I do to get homes sold fast and for top dollar, make sure you download a copy of my book. I'll link to that in the description. I look forward to talking to you.